see you there. Whew. That rope float, that can be a workout. You came back. Let me show you what I've been doing. Come on. All right. Here's the 78 Royale. Fuel tanks. Let me climb in here and show you. So I've got the frame all painted. And then I've got my hockey pucks ready to go in. Yeah, before we go any further, this video is brought to you by whatever I've got in this Stanley. Okay, so we'll get in and look at this frame brace. So these are 3/8 angle iron, 6-inch angle iron. I had the metal shop cut them 3 inches, and then I drilled the holes to mount them. If you're following along, I think maybe 4 inches would be better, because some of these hole offsets are pretty close to the edge, and that will make the hockey pucks offset a little bit. Here, we'll go back. Offset a little bit. I can't put any of the hockey pucks in because the floor is sagged. So I've got them all in position. I've got all the stair material, rotted out wood taken out, and all the screws taken out. If you're following along and you got a motorhome, you got this 1/8-inch aluminum that's just welded out here to the bottom, and then it would have sandwiched your 1-inch plywood between there. I guess they put that in to, once this is bolted together, sandwiched with the plywood, that would give it some strength in the middle. Is all I can guess, but maybe they should have put some strength in this one, because there's nothing here. You can see it wiggle out there on the end. There's nothing holding the step other than where it's welded on these cross pieces. I don't like it. Look how much that's flexing. It's a lot. Sorry, there were crimp nuts here, one here, 2 right here, and those hold brackets for the engine up here to hold these hoses in place, and to hold the speedometer setup for the cruise control. I'm sure some of you would like to see what I've done with the fuel system. So all the hoses have all been replaced. The senders all work. I did have to do some repair to this sender on this one. It wasn't getting a very good ground contact inside of the sender. Anyhow, the hoses are all replaced. Hoses up to that breather. So what we've done with the breather, that breather is a breather for both tanks originally. So what I've done is I've run the rear tank breather hose up to that breather, and then out of the top of that breather it runs back up like the original, back up through here, and then it goes up and crosses over and goes down to the evaporative canister right there in the corner of the passenger. Air breather is actually right here. So this one runs up underneath the frame along here, comes out over here, follows the fill hose right back, and I've got it teed in where it's up here, teed in to the gas fill, this line that comes up to here. So that provides the breather for the front tanks, so that the tanks will fill without stopping that breather back there and then gushing fuel out of the fuel tank. So that's a good upgrade. If you have one of these, do that. Down here I've got a fuel pump, and somebody asked for material list, so I will add Amazon link or something to the fuel pump that I bought. You don't have to buy the same pump I bought. I don't care. Anyhow, so there's a fuel pump. That fuel pump is only plumbed into the front tank here. The front tank is actually the reserve tank. Motorhome runs off of the rear tank. Since they're both connected, they both drain at the same time. Once they get down below the fill hose line, then it just drains from the rear tank. You run the rear tank empty, and then you can switch tanks to this reserve tank in the front. And I don't know how many gallons it is, 5 gallons or something to get you to a gas station. So the reserve tank is plumbed into the fuel pump. The pump is wired into the same wiring down here for the fuel selector valve. So if you switch tanks, the pump comes on and you get fuel from the front tank. That also helps with vapor lock. If you run into a vapor lock situation, you can flip to the front tank, and that extra fuel pressure will blow that air out of the system. When I did this, I replaced the connectors. I think they call these Deschute connectors. So one is just a ground, and the other one runs the fuel pump. And then coming out of the fuel selector, I just ran the hose up. Since I have more clearance with those hockey pucks, I could run that between the frame and the chassis of the coach. That runs up to one of these glass fuel filters. They're cleanable, so I can take that fuel filter apart and clean it. I think I got this off Amazon also, along with some extra filters just in case. And then from there, that runs up the original pathway up to the carburetor and for the engine. Right now, I've got a lot of cleaning to do. I just barely got all that wood and everything taken out. It was all rotted and nasty. So I'm going to leave you with me cleaning all this up, and see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.